Hi folks, welcome back to the 40S videos. In this one, I'm going to actually talk about intervals, interval diagram or the sign diagram, and it's most useful if you watch it before you watch the video for 3.4, which covers outcome R12. Okay, so what sign diagram does is it indicates where the y values of your polynomial exist. So whether it's above or below the x-axis. In other words, are your y values positive or negative? So what you're going to do first is you're going to factor the polynomial to determine all of the roots. And once you've done that, I'll use the first example in 3.4 notes to do this question. So this is our factored form. You've got f of x is equal to x minus 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 1. Now, that's going to tell us that the roots are a negative 3, 1, and 2. So once you have the roots, what you're going to do is you're going to take them and you're going to plot them on a number line. So your number line doesn't have to be to scale. It just needs to be just big enough so that you can do what we're going to need to do. And you'll notice once we get into it. So now you've got your diagram here. This is actually going to turn into our sign diagram. And we're going to choose values in between the roots. So we're going to test them. Once we've done that, we're going to test them in the factored form of our polynomial. Okay. So let's see, negative 3. So I want to pick a value that's more negative than negative 3. So let's pick negative 4. Okay. And here you want to pick a value that's between negative 3 and 1. So let's pick a nice easy number, 0. And over here, pick a number between 1 and 2. So we'll have to pick like 1.5. And then pick a number that is larger than 2. So we can just pick 3. Okay, now that we have those numbers that we've chosen, we're going to take this negative 4 and we're going to put it into this factored form. All we're going to do is we're going to figure out whether each bracket ends up being positive or negative. So these are my 3 brackets here. And if I put a negative 4 into this x minus 2, I end up with negative 6. Now, I don't care whether it's negative 6. I don't really care about that. All I care about is whether it's negative or positive. So if I put the negative 4 into this bracket now, that's going to still give me a negative number. Now, if next I take this negative 4 and I put it into this third bracket. So that's going to give me a negative number. Now I have a negative times a negative times a negative, which ends up as a negative in total. When you multiply 3 negatives, you end up with a negative. Okay. So that's the first part of our sign. Now here we're going to pick 0. So let's plug 0 into this first bracket. What do we end up getting? Well, we got negative 2. I just care about the negative. 0 into this bracket ends up giving us a positive number. It's positive 3. And put 0 into this third bracket and it gives me a negative number. Now, negative times negative equals positive. So that's what I end up with there. Here, I'm going to choose 1.5 and I'm going to put it in here and I end up getting a negative number for that. And if I put 1.5 into here, I'm going to get a positive number. And if I put 1.5 into this third bracket here, I'm going to get a positive number. Now notice we've got a negative times positive, which ends up as a negative. Okay, so finally we're here at our last one. We've chosen the number 3 because it's bigger than 2. And I'm going to plug it into this first bracket and I end up getting a positive value. Put this 3 into here. I get a positive. And then I put this 3 into here, into this third bracket, and I end up again with a positive value. So positive times positive times positive ends up as positive. Now, this here gives us a general idea of how the polynomial is flowing from one between the roots. So from here to here. So let's say in between, when it crosses through the root that is at -3, it's going to go from negative to positive. So it's going to kind of angle that way. When it goes through the x equals 1 root, it's going to go from positive towards negative. So it's going to end up crossing like that. And here, from negative to positive through the 2, it's going to go up like that. So that gives us an idea of how it's going to look when it crosses each of those roots. And once you've done that, you also need to figure out, you know what, we'll graph the rest of this when we graph example 1 in the notes, and then we'll have a look at how the y-intercept fits in and everything. Okay, so hope that is helpful, and we'll see you again soon.